Hello, welcome to this video. This is a submission from a friend of ours out of the clan who actually wanted to improve upon his solo chambers. I think he has only done 1 or 2 solo chambers, so not that much, and he wanted to be coached by me, so I will go in depth about what went good and what went wrong. So let's get into it, shall we? So as you see, he has the plugin for the raids, which is quite nice. It's on the top left over here. He has the effect for when to enter the raid upon his head for the vortex, which is quite nice. I personally would already, upon walking to mystics, equipped my ranging as I walked towards it, because this is very time consuming. He drops his super combat potion way too far. Way too far. I would have dropped it where he's standing right there. Or something like there, if that makes sense. Now he dragged one of the mystics, which is quite nice. I personally would have dragged it to the west, or standing right where he is now. So it depends whether you want to safe spot melee him, or just, face tank him head on, let's say. So nothing too major over here. He just protects the mage and it's fine. It's not the best way, obviously, because technically he could have walked a little bit further ahead, but he can't because there is still a super combat on the ground. I'm very curious whether he is actually going to pick it up and not forget about it. So we shall see, of course. The super combat is, in my opinion, not even needed. Well, maybe Ice Demon. The super combat could have been very nice for Ice Demon, truth be told. I wouldn't have safe spotted here. I personally would have safe spotted over there to make it a little bit more easy, because that's diagonally better suiting for meleeing. Safe spot meleeing, let's say. Like over here. That would have been the play. Because now he either has to run back for the potion, for the Warhammer, for Ice Demon, to land better, or totally leave it there. He choose to leave it, or he might have forgotten about it. One of the two. So yeah, it's not really recommended to either had that one or forgot about it, because okay, sure, you have your seeds right now, but you can rake them at the end anyway. Now, I don't see what it personally was. Okay, it's a rock. So yeah, don't do the rock. Skip the rock. That's a good call. You don't want to go for points, because I know he's going to be suiciding. But the points are irrelevant at this point. So a full deposit is always good. And a withdrawal. So the reason why I always say do your gear up, like all your gear here, for example, and your potions here, so the withdrawal is always correctly. Otherwise it might go a little bit out of order, if that makes sense. If you actually do equip your axe first and then deposit, it would have been a little bit faster. Now, he actually chopped one of the trees down, and I think he runs back due to the fact that the tinderbox is there. But honestly, I would not have picked up the seeds, and therefore actually picked up the tinderbox. I see him picking 2 axes, which does not make sense. Tinderbox, it should have been. I think he's recognized that as well. So that might have been a misclick. But yeah, I would have picked tinderbox up instead of seeds. That way, it's just more time managing better, if that makes sense, right? I'm sipping my tea here and there, so I might sometimes not record or answer that. But honestly, he does this one, which is fine. It's the furthest away, but that means the most amount of things are gonna go in. I would not have done this. This part is, in my opinion, completely wrong. You want to only withdraw everything and deposit everything at once. So I would have chopped a second inventory completely, or at least 20 of them, and then throw in a non-lit fire thing, brazier, whatever it's called. That would have been my play personally, because now you're gonna struggle with, hey, where is my inventory gonna go? How is it gonna be? I always deposit withdrawal, and never ever take something out unless I specifically know what I'm about to do. So he throws it in the second one over there, which I personally not recommend. I would have gone there. This is technically better for points, but he's gonna suicide anyway, so he's gonna lose the points. So I would have done the second one over here, third one over there, or 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, right? But not throw in one, throw in second, and then go for third. That would I personally not have done, due to the fact you're struggling too much with inventory already. That is just gonna be too difficult, because this way you should have had actually done it on the third one and just skip the whole kindling thing over there. Because now, once you withdraw everything, it's gonna be completely on the wrong place, which is gonna make the rest of the things very difficult. So let's see how it actually goes. So I assume he starts with a Warhammer, because that's equipped right now. And here is where you wanted to have that super combat, because this is a 0 and this is a 1, right? So technically you could have perhaps had your first hit already a successful hit. But yeah, I personally wouldn't have walked over here and do it this way, but it's fine. It requires a little bit more managing and walking than I personally like to. I would have safe spot behind the rock over here, and then walk out, walk in, walk out, walk in, if that makes sense. That would have been my play, so I just only flick rigor that way. Saves a lot of prayer, and you don't really miss out on anything that way. So yeah, as you see, he getting hits consistently in, instead of dodging them. He is on Lunars, so if he actually withdrawed everything as I earlier explained, he would have had Vengeance right now in his inventory. And due to the fact he got so many hits in, rather Venge it for speeding it up, if that makes sense. Because now you're gonna withdraw everything, and you're gonna grab your Vengeance now anyway, if I'm correct. At least that's the play that I would have done in this case. So very long is this. This is the problem with not withdrawing everything at once. You're gonna search for your things. You don't want to search for your things. This is maybe a whole minute eventually in your raid gone, for no particular reason, if that makes sense. So the next one is gonna be Shamans. Let's see. He is still on the... He's boosted up for the prayer, like the stamina. That's quite nice. Let's see. Okay, he goes towards the pool. I would not have gone for the pool, because you actually have 99 of the sweets. Sweets heal about 10. You should have just ate it for time and not do the pool, because you already were on stamina. So it's only like 3 or 4 extra, and then you would have been full. Sure, it saves a little bit of money, but if you're already gonna use it anyway, you're dedicated to use it, if that makes sense. Like, don't save upon things that are minor increases while you wanna learn with it, if that makes sense. So just chuck it up, I guess. That's the best way to go about it. So far, so good. This is actually becoming a problem. He does not have a good XRS for either Tick Eats and for his poison, or his venom. Or he does not have Sandfuse. I personally either bring Sandfuse, unless I have Mutadels, then I personally bring... Oh, actually it has Mutadels, so I would have done a good XRS, but I'm an Iron Man, so, I don't have that many purple sweets. So good XRS already helps me with the Shamans. Otherwise, I do Sandfuse, if that makes sense. So this is going to be a huge problem in the future, because this has potential to die. That was actually a 13, if I'm correct, from the Venom, or Poison, whatever it is. Poison. So yeah, it's actually jumping. That means he was out of any corners or walls. And that's, is kind of wasting the time. It's actually another 12, so he loses about 25 damage already. Like 25 HP is just gone by not having the Zen view, which is honestly that's adding up over time. That really will add up. I think he get another one even. Yes, there exactly. So that's like 37, give or take. Yeah, like 37. So personally, I would have already got my gear on after the shaman dies, so I could tendril skip if possible, if that makes sense, to become in a better cycle. And just, don't lose your time. Because this is very time consuming. I get it. You're new, you're learning, you try to remember what you know and advanced in it. So that's really good, obviously. Okay, this is a problem for me. I should have set it on long range. Sorry, hiccups. I should have set it on long range and not attack it. Because now you're running too far ahead and you're actually attacking it. This is 2 hits that you should rather do it after, so 3 hits before the first chop. I will only attack after a chop. Because once you go too fast to 45 HP, it will reset. So this is the first time that I would actually hit. He misclicked, but that would have been the first hit, technically. So he actually made some mistakes by Steel Skin, because the augury helps for the accuracy to hit the monster, but it helps for defense of Mama Mutadel's magic hits. So Steel Skin is not gonna help you. Protect ranging should have been done here, consistently. Protect ranging as well here. And every time just hit upon a woodcutting chop, if that makes sense. So Steel Skin off is not worth. Augury is gonna prevent you from Mama Mutadel's hits, and actually gives you a little bit of defense and whatnot. And protect ranging, you are being chanced like 10 times over pretty much right now. So this is a mistake as well. You don't want to run away. You want to stand under him with protect melee, hit, run out, hit, run out. Because every time you go back over here, he cannot see you, so not attack. So you can do protect mage instead for Mama Mutadel. And only do protect melee when you walk out of it. Keep in mind, guys, this is an advanced method. Everything that I'm talking is more advanced. Oh, and he died. Yeah, that's difficult, and it's mostly because he lost, I think, about 70 HP due to poison. Yeah, Sandview should have... So basically, if he had a Sandview, it would have had a whole full Saradomin extra instead of wasting it. If that makes sense. That's huge. That's a huge difference. I would not recommend to repeat that mistake, of course. Maybe make a preset instead. That would be nice. Honestly, overall, it is not going bad, knowingly that this is only like his 2nd attempt or something. So if you have 50 attempts, it's bad. But for somebody who's just now doing it, it's not bad. See over here, when he is fighting, I personally would have dropped the axe, picked up the overload upon dying, overloading, because you are gonna get slaughtered and your damage is gonna be nil. It's so little, but with the overload, Mutadel would have been dead 10 times over. So now you need to run back and pick the overloads up, and otherwise you already had it in your inventory, a 3 dose, and you should have just run straight across. If that makes sense. That would have been the proper play. Overload for mini Mutadel, so the big Mutadel actually can hit. Here, protect for melee, very important. You don't want to get chanced. Trust me, once you die by a scavenger, and it will happen if you don't protect melee, you will get screwed. So don't hit with a T-bow, just don't. The magic defense is so little and everything from a scavenger, you will consistently hit zeros. I think you understand that as well, so that's why you changed there. But yeah, I would actually attack this one with a 4-tick weapon, so instead of a 5-tick, if you're already gonna scav. Personally, I would not have scavved here. I would have done actually a tightrope, because I would have been overloaded for Mutadel. Then with the overload for Mutadel active, it's easier to kill your tightrope as well. Then upon killing the tightrope, your overload is about to run off, you're full health again then, and then you scav. That would have been the better play. because you don't want to run out of your overload. You don't want to take too much damage because you didn't overload for Mutadel. So that is better than personally this, if that makes sense. So we're just going to play this along and just watch what happens. I know a little bit. I skimmed a bit through it here and there. But generally speaking, I would not say it's bad. It's just not optimal, if that makes sense. So you can do about 5 different things here. You can just tightrope skip. You can kill everything and run back and front, so you never take damage. For example, if you run towards here, you hit, you run back here, you hit, you run back here. And you do it for the ranges as well. Every time you run back here, he's out of reach, he does not render you, and you get 0 damage. You're tanking now damage that is unnecessary. If you run like this, back front, back front, back front, back front, every time he's out of distance, you don't need anything. You can just rigger flick it until he's dead. So attacking with the BCP is a decent choice, but it's not good choice. If you do decide to use some BCP in this method, as he did, you attack always with your Armadillo body. Then you flick your Armadillo body back for his melee, range hits to tank it with your melee body. Now, the best play, in my opinion, would have been Blowpipe, 1 hit, T-bow hit, and then stand behind here. He cannot attack you if you're behind the shadow roots. So you're gonna stand behind the shadow roots, attack him once with a blowpipe, instantly back to the T-bow. So you do blowpipe T-bow in 1 game tick hit, or within 2 game ticks, let's say. And then you go back over here to safe spot. So you trade 2 hits compared to 1 hit. Then if you actually become low, you do T-bow hit or blowpipe hit, T-bow hit, go back. Right when you go back, that's where you use your tick eats. So right about diagonal from this shadow root is where you tick eat when you run back. So you consistently don't need to use your Sarahs. That would have been a better play. So change your body consistently between attacking and and defense, because they attack with a 4-tick cycle, you attack with a 5-tick cycle. So if you full on face tank, you're always trading 2-for-1 hits. So you do 1 hit, they do 2 hits. It's not optional. It's very poor execution of health management, if that makes sense. Unless you trade it off to go back to the shadow roots and trade it actually into, your blowpipe hit into a T-bow. Then you trade 2 hits for 1, and then you either tank it or you tick eat it. Or you just tightrope skip it. That's a whole different thing. I won't go in that, obviously. That seems a little bit too much. I don't know what he is gonna do here, because he is manually doing it on the Geyser, whatever it's pronounced, while he has Lunars. If you have Lunars, you just grab 27 and your Lunars, and you do Humidified to actually fill them. That saves you, since he does it already twice, I think that would have saved 30 seconds, give or take, like 25 seconds, whatever. So you basically deposit all, withdraw your room pouch, grab then all the vials, humidify, and deposit. So you only run towards this and this place instead of this and this consistently. This takes too long. And then manually like that, that's just, in my opinion, not the play. You have humidified, utilize it. No offense, of course, no offense. This is just pure explanation and coaching session. I don't want to bash you in or whatever. This is just my opinion how I would have done it, obviously. I hope you can learn a lot from this, and I appreciate, the submission. If you guys, who are listening and watching this, if you want to do this as well, hit me up on Discord or whatever. I can definitely make some kind of, monthly thing, weekly thing, or whatever out of it. I don't know how I'm gonna do this by any chance in the future, but this was a trial and error, and it's a good first thing to just check how it works, if that makes sense. So let's see. You don't have enough, you don't have an equal amount of brews, and don't have an equal amount of herbs compared to your compared to your vials, because you equipped a full inventory, and if you actually did it with humidified, you saved that one inventory space, so it's 27. Now you're grabbing 27 due to the fact you have a spade, so you're 27 to 28 compared to vials and herbs, which is gonna be, in my opinion, an odd number, and especially if you know how much you're gonna use. And if you utilize those things, you always end up with the same result, if that makes sense. This will help you a lot. It sounds perhaps a little bit nitpicking, but it definitely will help you in the long run. I have no idea what he's doing here. Guys, please don't do that when you submit anything like that, because I'm just filling the void, if that makes sense. So that's a yikes. So what I would have done, obviously, is throw an extra Buchu in and instantly go on this one, because it saves you time and it saves me time, if that makes sense. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, he's back tangled. So that's what I would have done, because if you now, let's say, pick it out within 2 or 3 and you have not enough, then you're gonna wait until the whole new batch arrives. But if you actually plant it first and then go on the second tree, the first tree will be grown when the second tree is gonna go dead. So that way, it's actually way more efficient to manage your time. That way, you don't need to wait another 15 seconds. I think 14 actually. If I'm correct, it takes 14 game ticks to be fully grown. But I could be wrong there. But you get the idea, if that makes sense. So now we see over here, this seems to be not enough. I would have to 13 and then only take the amount of Buchu I need, and only take the amount of juice that I need. So juice here, or Buchu here, whatever. Like shrooms, juice. And then 13. That's how I personally would have done it. That just saves a little bit. And then let's say if you only want to make 12, you only take 12. If you want to make 10, you only take 10. So you know when you're done. Because now it's like, okay, I made some, I dropped some. It's not efficient enough to really understand how your inventory is working, how much you want to suicide, and how much you... because I assume he's suicides. That's only logical in this situation, So this way you get lost in the amount that you need. I would only highly recommend to scav until you have the certain amount. Let's say if you need 10 shrooms, you only go for 10 shrooms. If it's a little bit more because, RNG, no problem. Just deposit everything that you need in it, in the first deposit that you can do on the shared room, and then drop the rest. So you don't even have it anymore when you're gonna scav. When you're gonna go prep. Because now you are still left over with certain things. And it's just, I would only have done an X amount in that I need and then drop the rest and go on with the raid. That way you never get too confused upon what you're gonna use. So it's a very healthy amount of suicide that he's gonna do there. It's like 8 restores. It's plenty. It's fine for me. You can suicide on 2 different things. You can run in, drop everything in the middle, and then take your items off. That way, because you drop everything that fast, and you unequip your items, you die first. You die fast, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit of a time save, but that's only recommended if you're super fast on dropping. As you see over here, the first phase is an acid phase, guys. The acid phase is very important to understand in every phase. It can be crystals. It is a very good job. He actually went in that one to die. That's good. That's nice, actually. Job well done. That saves at least a couple of ticks. That's all right. So you can either get acid, flame, or crystal phase. So still, once again, the whole inventory is just messed up. If you only withdraw and deposit, if you only use those 2, it will always be in order. Because the inventory, it effed you up in Ice Demon. It effed you up in prepping. and now in gearing again. So only by withdrawing and depositing from what we have seen so far would have saved us easily 3 minutes. There's no doubt in my mind that wouldn't have saved 3 minutes by just using deposit and withdraw. It sounds like bashing, but I cannot preach this enough. It is super helpful. It is a little bit difficult. Like, honestly, guys, I've seen people with over 800 KC and still don't understand this concept. And it's just mind-blowing. And don't get me wrong, I had difficulty as well learning this concept. But at one point in my journey to, no prep, let's say, which now Oxy has. Oxy is the player, for those who haven't seen that yet. It's just super important to understand. And honestly, I've been in his shoes there. Like, not understanding how the bank works. The faster you get it done, the better. Personally, I would not have recommend the tacits. The tacits are not going to do a lot, so I would have gone with only ancestral bottoms in this place for melee legs. But it is what it is. Okay, so he had a Warhammer in, and it actually landed. Oops, I don't know whether you could hear that. Sorry if you did. I knocked over my glass. So it's one Warhammer here. So if you see, he didn't go to 2, so he gonna get hit. It will turn, not right now, but now. So that's good. Perfect. So he went a little too... Yeah, okay, this is a complete mess. So you wanna hit on 1, or row 1, row skip, and row 2. So he should have tanked 1 here. Okay, it turns now. That's good. Like a hit. Perfect. Now you do a hit here. Oh, nope, not there. This is actually a 2-0. 2-0 does not work. You need a second hit has to be here instead of here. So it will always get you either a portal or crystals or whatever, right? It's because your cycle is completely wrong. You do a 2-0, which doesn't really work here. Because it automatically becomes like a 2-4 or whatever. So yeah, that goes wrong. So 1 hit here. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. He should have waited 1 game tick further, so it turns and then run along. Because now waiting and hitting, it was a tick too early. If he waited a tick longer on 2, it would have helped. So 1 hit, you can... Okay, if he actually hits there, you stay here until he turns. So this is not good. Now you go back over the same row, and you're not in time again. So don't go back on the same row when there is poison. So rather walk like this, and then go like that. Or you walk this, and then there. Like an Y, if that makes sense. Something like that is fine. And then you go like that. This is actually going to be punishing. Yeah, that's really punishing. So I would have waited 1 game tick or 2 game ticks there. So he turns and then walk to middle. Because that way you tank a hit less because he's turning. Because every time he turns, there's just no way he can hit you because he's turning. So this is too early. This is way too early. That's good. So now an hit there. Okay, he did not. He actually went for almost 2 and then got dragged. So that's incorrect. So you really want to specify a skip hit on the 1, where he, said 1.4, and then on the 2. That's where you want to hit it. So he does 1 hit, then go back. Okay, it's very good. You can go to skip. That's no problem at all. But if you go to skip, like here, it must be turning. So it turns now, but he's too late because he lost a tick. No, never mind. It went actually good. So that's too late. Special. Yeah, okay, that's a death. That's a death. No way about it. Yeah, it's too far. It is what it is. Scroll out, go back to your portal. And just prioritize portal then, I guess. That might be the best way. I would have overload first. Because the overload timer goes down when you're going, down yourself. So now by standing still and then overloading, overload on the top and then Sarah on the bottom. Because then you would have been in already with full HP instead of that you entering right now. That would have saved you another 10-15 seconds easily. If that makes sense. I hope this explanation goes alright. Let's see. So he does a hit on 1, then he turns him. I would have done 2 hits on 1, but That's advanced thinking, I guess. Because you need to know what cycle you're in. So I won't go too in depth, but I will try to explain a little bit. Okay, so you see the crystals. Every time you have a crystal, you want to stand one game tick away from Olm's hand. And when crystal pop up and does the animation, then you attack the hunt. So you're actually one game tick behind Olm's hits. And that is, let's say, the newbie way of getting in cycle. So every time you have portals, you know, hey, after portal, you know, then comes the, I would not have done this. I would have run like second row, not first row. That's too much damage. So always go to flame after 2. So it's 1, 2, flame, 3, 4. 1, 2, flame, 3, 4. 1, 2, flame, 3, 4. So now we know, okay, portals happened. I would have run there because you're too late, way too late. So you always do 2 hits after the spikes. So spikes arrive, 1 game tick next to it. So the next game tick, you're on Olm, do 2 hits on 1, and then go to skip. So let's say, here is, okay, this is a perfect example. Watch on the crystals soon on the ground. So that's about now. Okay, he skips it without knowing that he skips it. So you should have just done 2 hits here and then go to skip. I would never run back to the same poison row. I would have gone to the second or the third row and then attack like that. This is unfortunate. This is a death. There's no way. Okay, it's not a death, but very close. Portals. So we have another attempt to set it up for the newbie way to get into 4-1. Because I know for a fact he tries to learn 4-1. So this is good. So 1 hit, then 2 hits. And you should have done the second one here, because now you're too late. So you go back. Okay, this is actually very decent. Honestly, he had it. I think he had it. If I saw that correctly, that was the 4-1 cycle. It scuffed, but it was actually there. Unfortunately, he could not proceed upon it due to the fact that the boss already died, if that makes sense. So now we're gonna watch until the second thing. I will always stand close to here, so you can Warhammer instantly. I personally like to, once you're a learner, as long as you're a learner, Warhammer always on 2, so he turns. Because now he is not turning, and you took for no reason a 24 there. That 24 would have been a 0, because he could not have seen you from 2 row back to skip row. So this is too late, so you're gonna get a hit, way too late. Then you need to hit here, that's good. Now you need to hit on 1 again. Unfortunately, he did not do that. He splashed, so it goes to middle. For those who don't know, if you splash, if you're in the wrong cycle and you splash, you always will go to middle. I would not have gone to this row. I would have straight go to there. And once he attacks here, I would have stayed there. So he turns actually this way and then go back. Because now you took another 2 damage for no reason. So hit here. Nope. Okay, he did not hit there, unfortunately. You always want to hit 3 times. Otherwise the cycle does not work. He is super lucky that he ran through there. Super lucky. So let's see how this is go. Okay, I will personally just face tank this one and do another hit there. So the rule kind of is cycle first, damage second, eating last. If you wanna, kind of be decent at it. For beginners, it's eating first, I guess. But it's not good because you lose your cycle, and by losing your cycle, you eat more. So that's like, a paradox. It's not working. So cycle first, then eating for a learner, and then damage. But I would highly recommend to just learn cycle, then damage, then eat. Unless you're a speedrunner and know what you're doing, then it's different. But, generally speaking, cycle first. Okay, this is gonna be screwed, because if he's not on time, yeah, that's painful. Exactly. I would have run earlier to the teleport. So over here, we see that the spikes arrive, so we already know you could have set a 4-1, but this is not phase 3, this is phase 2. So it's not recommended yet. Always go for the Mage Arm first, unless you want to cripple it. Crippling might be better for him, for his solos, but crippling, you need a certain amount of damage before you cripple the arm. So you kind of want to have a Warhammer into a side hit and then start your Cyclus. Which, yeah, I don't think he has a side, but that's a better option, I think. Because at least that way you get less special attacks. So let's see how this actually works out. So protect melee there. Okay, that's rough. I would have gone earlier. Yeah, that's another 15 for no reason. Sorry, I took a sip of drink, but so far it's not bad for a second attempt or something. I will not have run to mage, because you're gonna get a hit there, exactly. Okay, Warhammer lands, unfortunately not. Now you have portals again. This is the second phase, so portals, after that, is gonna be crystals. In the third, it won't be crystal, it will be heal. 9 out of the 10 times. So keep that in mind. So okay, so far so good. I would not recommend that. But, if he actually went back instantly there towards the 2, he would have at least a decent 3-1. Okay, grabbing the items is fine. That, it is what it is. If you need food, you need food. It's that simple. Okay, so I would have waited here, because the spikes are there, and then set it up from 1 game tick behind. So you're always 1 game tick behind Olm. I would have waited 1 game tick more there, so it would have turned and then run to 1, if that makes sense. But that unfortunately did not happen. Protect Mage I would have done there. Because the second time it is here, Mage again. Because you can kind of know, if you get a Mage hit the first time, you're gonna get a Mage hit the second time. So that is like the fist rule. It's not 100% true all the time, but generally is. So see, this is the third Mage hit when he has Protect range up. And that adds up, guys. That really adds up. So it's fine. He has his Mage at least now up. Okay. We know now what we're gonna do. We're gonna stand here next to 1 and wait. I wouldn't have turned it, because that's actually turning upon the crystal. So you don't know which cycle you're in, and you wanna know when this crystal arrives. So I would not have turned it to 2 there. That throws you off the cyclus of the most easiest way to set up a 4-1. Which is crystal 1 game tick behind, and then set it up to skip after 2 hits on 1. In this case, 1.4. Or thump for most people. So, most people call it thump. But soloers don't really call it thump. So they either call it by how much hits it's going to be. So this is going to be a 1 hit and his 4th hit. This is going to be his 2nd hit. This is going to be a flame skip, and he hasn't been there once. So you're going to get screwed, because you totally forgot the whole cyclus on the first rotation, and now the second phase as well. Because it's 1, 2, flame, 3, 4, skip. 1, 2, flame, 3, 4, skip. 1, 2, flame. Like flame and then 3. And then 4. But we didn't do 4, and we ran too fast back. So he's still focusing. You waited 1 game tick longer there to turn it and then run back. So yeah, this is perfect. Now 1 hit, 2 hits. Should have been a 2nd hit there, and then skip. Then you had a 4-1 instantly. So this was almost a very good execution. Like, it had a lot of potential, just the execution was a little poorly. But it was a good try, I will say, for sure. So, unfortunately, a game tick too late, so it turns. And then you get a hit. So yeah, I will eat here a lot. Eat up everything, pick up everything. I assume that's what... Okay, he is not doing that. That might be a problem later on. If phase 3 starts, and it's either a poison or something like that, and he throws it, you might be screwed. So you kind of... Okay, cool. He's actually picking it up right now. That's good. So he picked it up super late. So the Warhammer is not equipped, that is a problem. His special attack is not on, which is a problem. And he didn't attack on the first game tick of when he could attack it, of the first phase. So now you take a range hit, I would have run back. I wouldn't have hit there. I would have stayed on melee and do an instantly 4-1. So if you do an instantly 4-1, you Warhammer on 2, you Warhammer on 1, you go to skip, you go back on your lance, and then you do 1, 2, 3, because that's an instant set. So double Warhammer skip, and then your 4-tick is an instant 4-1. That is what I highly recommend, due to the fact your Blood Fury will heal you a little bit, and then your Sang heals you a little bit from your running. And this is relatively more easy, with 3-0 mage run, and therefore you can heal yourself back up. So in the third phase, I would always recommend to start with the melee arm on a 4-1, and then end up with the... okay, nice skip, by the way. Very nice skip. I think that was intentional. It at least looked intentional. This is a mistake. He should have done an extra hit here, tanked a hit, and then set it up. But hey, you know, live and learn, right? But honestly, overall, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Like, the attempts, sure, you die and you suicided, so your points are shit. But your time for a learner, like for second try or something, is really impressive. Like sub an hour is very good. It is really good. So you cannot bat back, or you're gonna skip it. So he's gonna skip it, but he skipped it wrongly. Attacking with the stave should have been from mage arm, so you get dragged. That is the better play. So yeah, of course that's a mistake again. Eat up, because you don't want to die. Your prayer is actually wrong there. So that 17 could have been prevented, or at least 50% prevented, because you don't know whether it's mage or range. I will never set mage on in mage gear. Always protect the range on for a range hits, because the mage hit is gonna be 9 out of the 10 times a splash anyway, because you're already wearing magic protect gear. So that would have been better. So if you need to choose, think about what your items are. If you're in melee, you do mage. If you're a mage, you do protect range, because that way you have most likely a decent tank if you're off prayer. That, I hope that sounds alright. So he's still protect for melee and he's just waiting. The reason that I would say don't wait here and start the melee arm, because every time he heals, you cannot attack the magic arm anymore, because the magic arm now is close to dying. So you're just basically eating out of your nose at this point. You're just waiting until the cycle is properly set up and the heal is gone. If you start with the melee arm and you get a heal because you did something wrong, then you switch to mage and go about your mage. The moment the cycle of the healing, like the infinity sign is gone, the healing phase, let's say, then you go back to melee again. So you only mage if you have infinity on melee. That way you don't wait, because he was just standing there still for a good 5 to 10 seconds. This is dangerous territory, but because he runs back like that. Yeah, don't do that. Like, second row and then run back. That would have been better. Improperly skip, so we got portals. We know after portals come crystal, but this is phase 3. Phase 3 means he might actually heal, as he did. Boom, as he did. I predicted the heal there. You cannot attack him, or well, he can, but maybe once. I think this was pure luck. I don't think he knew Flame Wall was about to go there, because otherwise you set it up there. Actually here. I see this is actually wrong. It should have been this one here. So by the way, change this, like the firewall, change it over here. Like next to the 2, not in the thingy over there, not there. I just see that right now. That's my bad. I didn't notice that earlier. So he ran back over that and then there. That's not all too good. It seems like... Yeah, okay, this is good. Like, you know, running back is fine. I would not have gone there. Protect mage, I would have actually gone to skip. So I think that might have been a misclick at his end. I would not have gone there again and just stayed on 2. Due to the fact that then he turns and you get less damage. Because now you're killing it and eating it and running around. This is like a snowball effect. If he stood on 2 and killed melee first, because what if it starts healing right now, for example? You know, you're just screwed. This was luck. This was pure luck. There was no skill about it. Thank God it did not reset the arms. That would have been, you know, a problem. It really would have been a problem. So he's out of food in the bank, so he must pick up everything here. I will personally have grabbed 1 8 here and then run to this, so I could already do my overload and eat up that 1 that I already picked from here, if that makes sense. That saved a lot of time. So pick up 1 there, pick your overload, eat it up, run back to your pile. That more efficient. Way more efficient. So you only want to walk here from 2 and only from here, the mage, like the splash. So this row and this row. You don't want to go over this row here. You don't want to go over this row here. So these are the outer sides. He consistently camps melee, or sorry, I mean middle. So he's going to get all the specials, no turns. As long as you don't turn it, you're just face tanking the boss. You must turn it, and it will actually turn because he grabs it now and he goes over the row. And since you're over the row, you always tank an extra hit here before you're going to middle. So it's actually a snowball effect of damage upon damage. So now you want to go here. This is 1 game tick too far, so he will get another hit. So that's 1 hit over here. Yeah, you could have avoided that by standing here on 2 and then run towards over through middle. Let's call this through middle. Yeah, that's... Yeah, this is rough. This is real rough. He runs way too far. He should have stand there, and the moment it turns, run back over there. So this is a fire. It does not really help you, the burn with me, of course. You could have skipped it by actually going to the 2 row over there when you passed from middle here. So this is difficult. So he's turning middle, then you go here, then he turns here. But since you're over there, it's 1 game tick too far, because you should have stood there and then not tank that hit. So now it turns, you hit him once, so he hits you back. If you hit over there, from there, it is a 0 again. So he will turn now, and if you now hit, see, now you hit and run there. Ooh, if you run there, it was twice a 0. So you will never get your hits in, or his hits in, I would rather say, and your hits in. So that's quite nice. The problem is here, your stamina is out, everything is out. It's tedious at this point. It's a snowball effect. It is really difficult for you. I can see that. But you managed it nonetheless. Congratulations. Very nice job done.